Charles Dickens was a prolific and successful author and is considered one of the main novelists of the 19th century. Although his life was marked by tragedy and self-progress. Some of his major works are The Pickwick Papers, 1836, Oliver Twist, 1838, Nicholas Nickleby, 1839, A Christmas Carol, 1843, David Copperfield, 1849, Hard Times, 1854, A Tale of Two Cities, 1859, and Great Expectations, 1860. This author was a self-made man and suffered a hard life that marked his writing. Dickens, as a child, lived in an idyllic place outside London, but his family was forced to move to London because of his father's debts, and all his family was sent to prison for his father, so the author lost everything he had. Therefore, since he was 10, he worked for a company labeling bottles. This experience made him stronger, and later, he used his writing to criticize the fact that children had to work during this time under such terrible conditions. Furthermore, Dickens defended a romantic way of thinking, as he criticized the Industrial Revolution and was against the mechanistic rationalization of nature. We can see that the author was marked by his childhood in the oppressing setting of London and probably defended natural theology, as he lived in the countryside before moving to London, which was portrayed as idyllic, outside the unnatural rhythm of the city. One of the main topics of his writing is injustice, which resembles some romantic poets like Shelley and was marked by tragedy. We can see that Dickens conveys his critique of the consequences of industrialization in Hard Times. The author uses a pessimistic tone to convey his descriptions of an industrial background within a dirty environment. The setting he uses, Coke Town, which is associated with fuel, is a monotonous and depressive and sad place with dark colors. It was a town of red brick, or of brick that would have been red if the smoke and ashes had allowed it. It was a town of machinery and tall chimneys, out of which it had a black canal in it. It contained several large streets, all very like one another, and many small streets still more like one another. Apart from that, he praises for originality and individuality in a society where humans were regarded as tools. In addition, the description of Coke Town, apart from being described as pessimistic, is also marked by a materialistic and functionalistic point of view represented through the inversion, perversion, and twisting of natural elements. We can see his point of view through exaggeration and the use of similes and metaphors to criticize the unnatural of the industrial world. For instance, the author employs a metaphor between snakes, poisonous but natural creatures, and smoke, a clear symbol of industrialization and oppression towards humankind and nature. It was a town of machinery and tall chimneys, out of which interminable serpents of smoke trailed themselves forever and ever, and never got uncoiled. Moreover, the author also employs a simile between the elephants and the industrial world to pervert their nature and make them unnatural, and where the piston of the steam engine worked monotonously up and down, like the head of an elephant in a state of melancholy madness. In the beginning, he also uses a simile to portray the city as savage, uncontrollable, like the painted face of a savage. As we have seen, Dickens portrays typical Victorian concerns such as those portrayed by Mill. In fact, by criticizing materialism and the fact that humans are treated as tools, he indirectly praises the value of originality and individuality. Moreover, he also talks about old values and satirizes the loss of old values through the omniscient narrator and his preacher, Amen, being sarcastic about the fact that due to the loss of old values, everything was fact between the lying in hospital and the cemetery, and what you couldn't state in figures, or show to be purchasable in the cheapest market and saleable in the dearest, was not, world without end. Amen. Because of the scientific advancements and the Industrial Revolution, Victorian society had substituted religion for materialism, resources, money, which corrupts and alienates people. The relations between master and man were all fact. Finally, the author describes the river, which usually represents nature and life, as being corrupted by industrial pollution and being turned unnatural. The river is described through unnatural colors like black and purple, and it stinks of dye. It had a black canal in it, and a river that ran purple with ill-smelling dye. In addition, humans are described as being pieces of machinery without conscience, as they live a monotonous life, living like tools marked by an unnatural rhythm, people equally like one another, who all went in and out at the same hours, with the same sound upon, to do the same work, and to whom every day was the same as yesterday and tomorrow. The author represents the monotony by repeating the structure as we can see. To conclude, I believe that the author perverts natural elements to transmit nostalgia towards nature and to criticize the natural rhythm that the Industrial Revolution provides as humans become tools.